Look out, here come this year's free Memorial Dragon Stones. How's it everybody, Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we have confirmation that the Memorial Dragon Stone 6 is on its way to our boxes here at the end of August. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what these stones are, how they're calculated, and what we can expect to see and when we can expect to see them. So let's go ahead and let's start by talking about the stones themselves. So these are the Memorial Dragon Stones. Now, we have had several variations of these this year during the 10th anniversary, and of course, without knowing much about them when they were initially revealed, we all speculated they would all be similar, but each one this year ended up different. This one is confirmed to be the traditional Memorial Dragon Stone that we typically know, and what that is basically Memorial Dragonstone handed out for every Dragonstone used that you can then exchange for tickets or exchange for characters, right, that you may be missing. Now, the way it is calculated is basically for every 50 Dragonstones used during the year, you get one Memorial Dragonstone, and it looks like that this gift will be placed in your box after August 21st. Now, this August 21st date is sort of soft confirms the next major celebration for global Dokkan. As many of you guys know, with the schedule shifting, right, we are currently in the midst of the global Dokkan campaign, right, that had run through July through now mid-August, replacing the previous Tanabata and global anniversary campaign, since now we both have Dokkan, since we now both celebrate Dokkan's anniversary in February. Wow, what this means is that the Tanabata campaign has been moved, the previous Tanabata campaign, and it is now occupying the space that is September, right? This means this is a Dokkan Fest LR celebration with a Part 2 Carnival, and we don't know what this will be because it won't be Tanabata, because Tanabata is typically associated with a holiday in the beginning of July in Japan. So whatever this new campaign, it'll be called something different. It's not the worldwide campaign, it's not the global campaign, whatever it is, it's going to be new, and it will feature a Dokkan Fest LR. So this sort of soft confirms the start date though for this campaign. As we look at previous year's campaigns, right, these all started right around, right, the countdowns and the celebrations themselves started at the last part of August, right? Countdown 7 days prior to this, right? So the 21st, and then of course the 28th is when the actual countdown started, and this was last year's Broly campaign. So this sort of also soft confirms when the Tanabata campaign, or now new campaign, is going to start. So kind of cool there. We now know that from the 21st, this is basically when the countdown kicks off, and then by the 28th to the 29th, we should see the start of the campaign. Real cool. Now, with that in mind, right, all stones used between that date last year, 8/20 on the 2024 to 8/21 2025, is what the calculation period. So basically everything from this point, right, the countdown celebration of last year's worldwide to now will be counted towards your total Dragonstone count. All right, so that includes any stones used during the 10th anniversary, any stones used during the global campaign, or any campaigns there in between. And I'm sure most of you guys, you know, with the 1,000+ stones that have been given out in this celebration or in the global celebration itself, right, some of you guys are probably inching your way up onto a pretty good amount of stones for this year, more so than in previous year, right? I think the average stone given out for a year in a full free-to-play year, right, if you were fully free-to-play, is about 180 stones. It's like on some years it's been as high as 180, other years it's been as low as 140 stones given out, because remember, it is 50 per Dragonstone used, right? So you know, depending on how much you summon, that's going to indicate your total. Now, where can you use these? Well, assuming we follow the same manner as previous years, there'll be a banner released during the countdown celebration, and this is why the target date is the 21st, because this banner will release during the countdown celebration, and it's basically a banner that includes all Dokkan Fests up to the August Dokkan Fest of the previous year. So this year, following the JP schedule, it was up to Super Trunks for last year's Broly campaign, and then there's two banners, and yeah, so just double checking here. Yeah, so Super Trunks was the most recent, right? He was the August Dokkan Fest for this one, so that means, you know, pretty much everybody up to that previous point, right? So it won't be this year's, it'll be the years prior. It also includes unfeatured LRs, and I believe it was up to Ribri Ann, I think was the most, no, Super Boo, sorry. Yeah, so because Ribri Ann would have released after that. So it's, I mean, the LRs featured are never, you know, it's always behind, unfortunately. But so that means, like, if we're trying to figure out where this is going to be up to this year, right? So this year's banner should have up to Fat Boo and AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They'll be the headliners as the Golden Week units, as those are typically the headliners here. And then I believe if we go with the August Dokkan Fest on JP schedule, it should be Roshi on here. However, Roshi was not available at the time on Global, right? For Global, August was Topo and UI Goku. So they could shift it a little, but I'm assuming now that we're fully synced, we're just going to go with the same banners on both versions, which means it should be Roshi on here as the most recent Dokkan Fest. And in terms of LRs, the most recent was Super Boo, which means the most recent LR that's going to be on here is going to be, so Super Boo was the April, and Bulma was not on here, correct? So let me just check the other banner to make sure she wasn't unfeatured. Yeah, so Bulma was not on here, which means that it should be... That means Ginyu will be the most recent, however, leaving the Golden Week campaign LR Ultimate AJL Ultimate Gohan out, right? Because Ginyu was the part 2 LR for the Topo Dokkan Fest, which was the April Dokkan Fest on JP. So very likely that just like this year here with Kale, right, and Super Boo being being the most recent LR, it should be into LR Ginyu as the most recent Yellow Coin LR featured. So I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but you know, if you're a collector, this is going to be... it's going to be some pretty insane value, especially if you're missing a lot of these, right? I put together a lot of teams, and people are always like, oh, well, what if I don't have, Int Kid Goku, right, for the team that I decided to run for an event? They're like, well, unfortunately, there aren't too many places to get these types of characters, but right, this is one of the few places that you will be able to get them. Now, these tickets on these summons on these banners tend to be non-GSSR, but I mean, with the amount of tickets that you will end up getting, right? So if you got 140 tickets, there's 140 tickets you can use to summon. Or if you got 140 stones of this, rather, that's 140 stones on this banner you'll be able to use that you can summon with. And I think they're like 7 tickets a piece. So, I mean, chances are you'll pull something off of this banner. And if they do like last year, right? If we just come back to the banners real quick. If they do like last year, if we go to the tickets here and we jump over here, skip back a little bit past the 10th anniversary. Here we go. Okay, one more ought to do the trick. Here we are. Okay, so if we come over here, if they do like last year, we should have something like this too, where you can do a big multi-summon ticket for 50, which, you know, kind of ups your odds, but you should be able to do at least one summon like this, where if you use 50 tickets, you get 20 SSRs, guaranteed 20 straight SSRs. This is probably the best deal you're going to get to pick up a lot of these units. Now, unfortunately, you can only do it once. There's also a stone version you could do as well. You can only do it once, but this is probably the best version of this multi that you can use your tickets for, because every single character in that multi, that 20 character multi, is an SSR. So, I mean, it's a gamble, right? You may not get who you want, but at least you're getting a bunch of SSRs, and it's higher likelihood you'll get what you want. So, you know, that's what the tickets will be used for. And if we're lucky, they'll introduce rainbow tickets again that we can use to summon with. But that one, I'm not so sure. Usually, right, you can use a couple of your stones to trade for summon tickets, rainbow summon tickets on the main Dokkan Fest banners, but they haven't been doing rainbow tickets this year, and I doubt they would lock any kind of 50 ticket multi behind using these, so it remains to be seen if that will be there. But for sure, you will be getting tickets, that stones that you can exchange for tickets to summon on these banners, and these banners are going to be dropping around the 21st, which should indicate the countdown celebration kickoff for whatever this new campaign is replacing Tanabata. Again, it should be a Dokkan Fest LR. Now, I do want to add one last thing in before we go. So, this was my stone count last year. You know, as many of you know, since it was actually a bit lower than most years, but that's because they had introduced yellow coin pity at this point. And so, you know, I wasn't having to go too deep on yellow coin banners, which really did help out. Now, I am curious to see what this looks like on this year, because this coming year, as many of you guys know, I got shafted on quite a few non-pity banners, as well as I was brought to pity for part 2 of the 10th anniversary and on GDC. So, and that pity was significantly higher than you know, your regular Dokkan Fest banners, 2,500 stones total. So I'm curious to see what mine would look like this year. I'm imagining it's still a bit lower, since the average monthly Dokkan Fest is the average monthly Dokkan Fest, you know, costs a lot less now with the pity, you know, needing only 200 coins to pull them. But we'll have to see with the LR pity that's been introduced. So I wanted to throw this out here as a little guess, right? Throw it out there. How many stones do you think Celtic Link is going to get this year? And how many stones do you think you're going to get? Remember, the exchange rate is 50 to 1, right? So for every 50 Dragon Stones used throughout the year, you get 1 stone. So I'm curious to see how much you guys have got, and how much do you think good old Celtic Link is going to get this year. I'll probably do a video showcasing how much I got in comparison to other YouTubers as well. Maybe some of the smaller guys like me. I don't think we're going to be stacking up to any whales, right? But let us know what your count is and what you think our count is in the comments down below. So, guys, that is it for the video. Memorial Dragonstones are coming soon on August 21st. That is in about 10 days. So if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what do you think Celtic is going to have this year, and what are you going to have? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.